Greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna. I suppose I picked the right week to start sharing again. Lot of information. Greetings and welcome back once again. Like, subscribe, share the video. You don't know all that good stuff. I guess I picked the right week and I'm in the sharing mood, so I'm going to do so. I know we've seen, for the most part, what has been going on. I did another video just on my thoughts, but this one, sometimes I see something that I just have to speak on. You know, sometimes I hold it, but this I had to speak on because some of the feedback, some of the discussions that's happening around the things that we are witnessing are just so telling about what we meditate on day and night, right? So something happens, and depending on the color of your shades, the color of the lens by which you are viewing what happened, and your lens is colored by your experience, your thoughts, right? Your emotions, whatever you meditate on, that's how you're going to see what you're seeing. So if my lens was green and I'm out here, the sky is going to look green, the grass is going to look green, I'm going to look green, right? So when we see people looking at the same event and coming up with all of these scenarios, what it really does is illustrate to us the lens by which they're viewing everything. The problem comes in is that if it's a very narrow lens, and if it's a space where we are, we have hidden agendas, we're going to take and spin everything into what it is that we want it to be in order for, as soon as I start, there is no failure to this. I'm coming. I'm on live. No, put it down. Put it down. Give it to me. I am on live. Thank you. Just give it to me. Give it to me. Thank you. Thank you. Give it to me. Thank you. Thank you. Give it to me. I'm on live. Give it to me. Thank you. Thank you. Look what they did to my... Look what they did to my price tag gun. And he's about to tell me this person now it's on my hand. Y'all see every time I'm about to go. Anyway. Now it's all over my fingers. I need to get a new one anyway. Hold on, peoples. Anyway. That was a commercial. Be entertained. Anywho, like I was saying, so this situation that the man, he's a guru, Derrick Jaxn, and you know everything he's talking about, you know, he becomes this hypocrite in the worldview, and everybody has their thoughts and the different reasons why they're mad. But I came across one sister that's on YouTube, and I let her know that I was gonna share my thoughts on what she said. Her name is Napah. Okay, shout out to you. Thank you for sharing. And sometimes, you know, when we have thoughts and it's just us and it sounds good at the time, right? And it's by that lens that we are sharing this information. But I want to read what she said, because I've seen people spin it. It's the girl's fault because look, she's in a bonnet. You know, she don't take care of herself. Look at the wife. People say they want to see the wife. Now they see the wife. Now it's the wife's fault. I'm just like, okay, what can we learn from this? Anywho, she says, and that's what I wanted to do. This is what this video is about. When are men, black men, going to stop bowing down and pandering to the feminist buck-breaking program lie that monogamy is natural male? Angelique, welcome. Right? So I thought that was interesting. That first question, I'll read it again out the box. When are men, black men, going to stop bowing down and pandering to the feministic, buck-breaking programmed lie that monogamy is naturally male? Polygyny, so this is a versus battle, you know, the verses we were seeing in quarantine, is matrimony is best for men and women if it is done honestly, respectfully, compassionately, selflessly, and compassionately. And she says, I said compassionately twice. Must have been the spirit. So I'll leave it. So the opening already shows that the point of view that this person is coming from is polypositive, right? So we can expect that the lens by which we are going to read the rest of it is that this person is a proponent for polygyny being the answer to a lot of the ills in the community or relationship issues. And being that this person postured himself as a relationship expert, then the reality is that she's asserting that polygyny would have fixed his issue. But is that an accurate conclusion? Then if someone says that, then we would have to look at all the spaces, Shalom, in which polygyny is openly practiced to see whether or not it does what the author is saying it should do. This is just critical thinking, only because I like to critically think. You're telling me this works. So then I should be able to look in spaces that there is no hesitation, there is no dissonance between what you're saying, and people are allowed to embrace it to see whether or not it works. I've done that. That's why I'm talking. I've done that. That's why I'm talking, and I find it. Uh-oh, where did it go? Come back. Where did you go? Hold on. Until the black man stops being in the polygyny closet, and until he stops looking to be his wife's obedient little Christian pet. So what I found often, and this is not even just in the polygyny monogamy debate, right? Don't know why there's a debate. If you choose to do something, you go do it. But why are you convincing other people? You know what I'm saying? But or trying to force them, or trying to, what we see oftentimes is that if somebody's standing in a position, and that's the position they're holding, then in order for them to feel superior or elevated, then they need to deface you. They need to make it as though I'm in an elevated position and you're not, because you're over there. And so you're all of these things, and putting the fact that you're all of these things on the woman. So at this point in the second paragraph, what I'm receiving, and y'all guys let me know, because sometimes I be tripping, is that the woman is to blame, because the man is pandering to this buck-breaking lie about monogamy, and the woman is to blame because you need to stop being, dang, there go more ink on my hand. You need to stop being an obedient little Christian pet. Ow. He's going to continue to take these type of embarrassing L's, speaking of Derrick Jaxn, and continue to look like the life fraud he ends up being exposed as. So the reason in this person's estimation that he's taking these L's is because he's conforming to something or pretending to be something that he's not, and it's the woman's fault. Yeah? Brothers, and now she's speaking directly to the brothers, you are innately and biologically polygynous. The black woman got you out here pretending to be something you are not. So again, all of the responsibility, all of the onus is on the so-called black woman, or the woman, and it is her fault because she's not letting you be naturally you. She got you out here looking bad. I wanted to share that. Let me know your thoughts, because I had so many when I was listening to it. Right? She got you out here looking bad. And this is a woman, the sister's name is Napah, who wrote this. So once again, let me rewind. There's some words that I would like to look into and see whether or not, if we put what is being asserted into context, if it flies across the board. Is it a universal truth, or is it just a subjective truth for this topic that the person leans towards, right? Natural and biological. I'll just start here. When we're born, there's a lot of things that are natural. There's nature, right? There's a lot of things that are biological. But as we're born into civilization, right? As we're born as civilians, there are things that we are groomed and taught in order for us to live within this construct called society. So when the child is born, he has a natural, or she has a natural bodily function that tells them it's time to go to the bathroom. And when the child is little, they don't know how to walk or take themselves, or know that you go on a potty or a toilet. So they go on themselves. Now, if you as the adult don't put something there, like a diaper or a nappy or whatever you put, that child is going to make a mess of themselves, because it is biologically natural for you to relieve yourself. But in this social construct of where cleanliness and order and things of that nature exist, we had to train that natural inclination to go wherever you wanted, and we had to put it in its right context, in its place. We could understand that. those who have children, grandchildren, whomever, we can understand when it comes on to that, right? We know that it goes where it belongs. As we continue to grow, and write your comments and questions, and I'm going to come and share. I just wanted to come to this biological thing, because I'm trying to figure out if it only applies on one side but doesn't apply anywhere else. So society says, I'm going to send you to school. And when you go to school, this is what is expected of you. I know it may be natural for you to run all over the place and do whatever you want to do or speak when the teacher is talking. But hey, in this setting, I'm going to need you to learn how to govern yourself. I'm going to need you not to be so impulsive. I'm going to need you to do the things that you need to do so that there can be order in the society. And we say, yes. And when it's out of order, they say, Mrs. Such and Such, Mr. Such and Such, your child lacks self-government. Cool. When you go to work, right? It's the same thing applies. They say, hey, this is where the coffee break room, this is where the drinks are, this is the time you get paid, and yeah, you can kick and scream, but hey, these are the rules and the regulations, and this is how things are going to run smoothly. Okay, we get to relationships now. It's free game. We get to relationships, and we get into a space where, and yeah, put your thoughts in the comment. We get into a space where, we got a little liberty to, bend this way and we bend that way. And according to what the sister is saying, because somebody is naturally inclined towards something, then the other person who may not be naturally inclined towards that thing should let the person do as they will. And then you make the adjustments to that person's natural inclination. And, I'm going to go back and read for what she said. And if you are, wait, let me go ahead. Hold on, let me go back. Honest, respectful, compassionate, and selfless, then you would be able to allow this institution of polygyny to work, because you are allowing someone in one space to lean towards their natural inclination, and you have to kind of balance it on this side. Let me say something, and then I'll come to read the comments. What we sometimes may overlook is this. Just because somebody has a natural inclination towards something doesn't mean it's the best for that person or that thing. This is what self-government is about. If the male principle represents expansion, and the female principle, I'm talking just in principle because we have all of those things inside of us, represents to a certain degree contraction. Expansion, contraction. These two together balances themselves. Every minute that you breathe, your lungs expand and they contract, and that's life, like this. So what we're essentially being told is that the contraction part should not be activated, and we should only allow masculine energy to expand, 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 because it's natural. No, there's more to this story. It may be natural, but the mechanism in which the Creator allowed to put in place, which is the feminine principle, is there to balance this desire to continually expand. I'll say this. When a country is getting big and grown and want to do what? Spread their wings. They begin to expand their territorial borders. Usually it's males ruling country. Usually this is masculine energy who wants to continue to expand their territorial borders. When they do so, it usually causes war. It usually causes fighting. Why? Because they're going into other people's space, right? Using their dominance to take them over and stamp their seal of approval. And all of the kingdoms that we see, when they're ruling, they expand. And when they're no longer ruling, they contract. Why? Why is that a natural progression? But when we come into relationships, we say deactivate the feminine principle and only allow for the expansion. Now, here's another question. When has the allowance of something ever satiated the appetite that that individual has? If it did, why do we have gluttony? Why do we have people who get what they say they wanted but continue to want more? Solomon is a great example. Solomon, oh, you can do what you want to do, Solomon. You can take all of these women. And 1 wasn't enough, and 2 wasn't enough, and 3 wasn't enough, and 4 wasn't enough, and 5 was. So at what point is it enough? At what point do we get to the point to say that in this guy's situation, in many people's situation, in David's situation, and Amnon's situation, I'm going to give you biblical, in Judah's situation, it was the man's inability to govern his natural desire that got him caught up. When David saw Bathsheba, and he already had all these women, it still wasn't enough. Abigail wasn't against polygyny. Was Abigail out here with her sign saying down with polygyny? But for David, even having access to all those women, it still wasn't enough. So this is why I'm speaking on this topic, because when we spin false narratives to say that if you allow this person to do this thing, it will be sufficient, but history has bore out that that's not true, then we're being disingenuous. We're not being honest. And we're leading people down the wrong path. If we look historically and see when has, for instance, in another space, and I was talking to Sister Mayana about this, when what did Ahab in the Bible, what did Ahab want? What was Jezebel helping him to facilitate? Ahab wanted to expand his border, right? He wanted someone else's field. He wanted to expand his borders. And instead of her saying, hey, look, you already got your field. Why are you trying to take this person's field? She deactivated her feminine principle of saying, hey, I'm going to bring balance to this situation. And a lot of people like to forget that she was aiding her husband. He came to her with a complaint. And she was giving him what he said he wanted. David was looking to expand his borders. And he took somebody else's wife, according to the text. Amnon was looking to take that which didn't belong to him, that he had no right to, and he violated someone. So these stories are showing us that the male has the responsibility to learn how to govern himself, not asking for concession or permission from the feminine principle to continue to feed this unsatiated appetite. Just my thoughts. Now, how did this woman, the particular woman in this Derrick Jaxn, how are you people on this internet dragging this woman who just appeared, who so many people say they're so concerned about, and I wonder how's her mental health? If she didn't have mental health problems, messing around with the internet, she will. I think we almost forget that real people exist on the other side of this screen. And that hashtagging just about people's lives, it's more to that, like other people have to live. So the woman went through all of this and whatever she went through in her life, and she appears, and our first instinct is, woo, let's drag her because she got a bonnet on. Anyway, that's just some of my thoughts about this conversation, especially what the sister was posting, is because when you look at societies around the world, a lot of the stuff that people are posturing, these allowances that many have been given, it is not the magic pill. It does not make all your troubles go away. People are selling snake oil because of whatever their inclination may be. So just come on and say, hey, this is my inclination. And people who agree with whatever my inclination is, hit me up. But the browbeating, the carrying on as though this is your inclination towards polygyny is the only way because monogamy is the cause of X, Y, and Z. Come on, people. I'm going to read your comments now. Shalom, everybody. No way she got him looking bad when... Yeah, it was him. So, again, it's the woman you gave me. I'm putting it all on her. She's the scapegoat. She's a Zazel. She's the one that you cast your cares upon. Anything that happens, anything that goes wrong, it's all her. Just fling it on her. Come on now, people. Without... hold on. The screen is dark. It's day, so the screen is dark. So if I can't see well... Hold on. Without doing any critical thinking, the sister's blame for a man's mistakes and inability to practice self-control is ludicrous. I agree. I agree. That's crazy. Now let's think critically. How is a wife accountable when her husband deceives her? That's the question we must ask. That's the question we must ask. So is it natural for a man to love more than one woman, but it's unnatural to be honest? These are questions. So if you guys out there and you have answers to some of these questions I'm reading out, feel free to leave it in the box below. Very true. They have to live after that, and it's wrong. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts. When we expand the lens by which we're viewing a lot of this stuff and the solutions that we end up at, we have to really just critically think, as Michelle said, and determine whether or not these are really viable solutions. Or they're just people who already had preconceived notions, and now that this is a prime opportunity for me to push this, then I'm going to push it. Yeah, you have to have accountability. And in this situation, we're not hearing accountability. We're hearing, let's shift the blame. And that shows that we have not. And then on top of let's shift the blame, the solution is adding more people. How's that the solution? If you did it with one, what you going to do with 5? You know what I'm saying? How is that the solution when you can't even show yourself to be able to govern one-on-one relationship sufficiently? Questions. Well, our brothers out there, you let me know your thoughts. How much does self-control, when everybody needs to be controlled, the woman should control herself in society. She should not do this. She should not do that. She should not dress like this. And I'm not advocating to be lewd and lascivious. Okay. But the thought is the woman should control herself. She should control her speech. She should control her dress. She should control her interactions. Children should control themselves. Children should control themselves when they come and when they go. But when you get to the male principle, he shouldn't control himself. He can start wars and arguments and injure people and give in to his male urges because he's male. That doesn't make any sense. Another thing, if you look at some other countries and they say it's dangerous out there for women, then I always ask the question, well, who's outside? If going outside is dangerous for women, then who is outside? And one will have to say the male is outside. So then the question is, who is lacking self-control if the danger is on the feminine who's supposed to be protected, and the males, these are in societies when a lot of the males are in the street, populating outside. And the thought is it's dangerous, but it's males outside. So who is in need of a bit more self-government? Males? Everybody needs self-government, but it's too much. Everybody govern themselves, and then when the male doesn't govern himself, he gets a pass. He was angry. He has natural desires. It's biology. All of these things. It's like, wait a minute. Is this why society is off kilter? Because everybody's not being held accountable in the same way for the same reasons? Angelique says, no matter what you're doing, have honor and decency, no matter polygyny and that's the question. At the core of this conversation, it's not about polygyny. It's not about monogamy. And this is why I was like, well, how did we get here? This is why I wanted to share. I'm like, how did we get here? This is not what the conversation is about. The conversation is about, as you said, integrity. The person presented themselves as X, Y, and Z. The person made a career saying, hey, X, Y, and Z. So, I'm expecting that you're doing this here. Now, there can be people who say, yo, I fell here, I fell there. This is how I know so much. I know so much because I messed up right here, here, here. That's how I got my knowledge. You know what I mean? I wasn't like, oh. It's like, oh man, dang, I fell right there. Oh yeah, never do that again. You know what I'm saying? Making all of these mistakes and stumbling through life, and experience was my teacher. So I can say, yeah, I'm not better in the sense of, yeah, I fell in that pit. A lot of times speaking to the sisters, I understand, because when you're in your brokenness, you will allow to be manipulated. You will allow people into your space because you're looking for them to fill a void that they didn't create, and you're not strong enough to love yourself the way you need to at that point. And so because you're open and susceptible to all of these things, right? That's something real. That's something that I've experienced within myself to begin to identify it in someone else, and even begin to minister and say, hey, look out for this, look out for that. So, you know, that's what it is. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Y'all be careful with them people, daughter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be careful with them people, daughter, and them children that's out there, because that's somebody's mother. That's them children's mother. That's people's lives that you have no idea in what capacity you can be really causing more insult to injury, because we're just, you know, we're on the other side of the screen and we don't care. It's laughs and giggles, it's likes and shares. You know, we could talk about it, but we just be respectful, because again, if it's you and the situation has changed, we're going to want some compassion or some understanding, or people to actually dig to get, or listen. That's one more thing, and I'm gonna go now. I don't think we're listening to what people are saying, because again, we're projecting. Oh, if it was me, I would do this, and if it was me, I'd do that. Man, stop lying. Why y'all lying? All the people running around, if it was me, if it was me, if it was me. It's been you for like the last 15 years, last 10 years. You know what I mean? Why are we playing games? We play all hard on the internet because it's funny and we getting... Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get somewhere. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I had to get that off my chest because it was bothering me. Now they got ink all on my hand. They made sure they jacked up my stuff. All right, everybody. Have a blessed day. And each one teach one. You know what I mean? Give people their roses and their flowers while they're here. You know, show love. You know what I mean? And be careful of the things we planting out here in the universe, because what goes around comes back around again. All right.